strikes. Start as you mean to go on.
But this is the danger of the top two guys, and that nuclear weapon that is.
Oh, hello, goodbye.
Score!
In the back of the net.
And shoots, score!
Of Serie A action. We'll bring you so much of it here on DAZN.
Magnificent. That is tremendous.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Going deep for it all. Devontae Smith. He has got it. Touchdown.
Your Eagles are world champions again.
DAZN is the home of boxing.
Really spurs you on, gets you going.
Let's make history. Pure power. There's no way back from this, surely.
If you love the fight, you'll love the game.
If you had the choice, what prize would change your life?
Yes.
Woohoo!
The competition's from as little as 5p per entry. What are you waiting for? You could be next to change your life with that prize, guys.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. Physically fit, physically fit, physically. Come on. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Fight Night on DAZN, brought to you by That Prize Guy. The following programme is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Fight Week in the heart of London's East End, Bethnal Green, the York Hall. Massive night of boxing here at the spiritual home, of course, of British boxing. Tomorrow night live on DAZN. A domestic dust-up for the British and Commonwealth titles is, of course, your main event. Kieron Conway defends his crown against the unbeaten Billericay bomber, George Liddard. That's all to look forward to tomorrow night, though. For now, it's weigh-in day. Don't go anywhere.
This is the moment the world has been waiting for. The judges are ready, the fighters are ready, the boxing world is ready.
The fight starts now.
Let's go.
How do you like it? On the show.
So aggressive, so focused.
It all comes down to this. Weigh in live on DAZN.
Yes, a very good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Fight Week. As I said, the heart of East London, Bethnal Green, the York Hall, the spiritual home of British boxing. Jamie Ward here alongside me, former IBF World Middleweight Champion, Mr. Darren Barker. Darren, when you look at this main event, a British and Commonwealth domestic grudge match in front of a sold-out crowd here at the York Hall, I guess it probably doesn't get much better than that, does it?
Do you know what? It's perfect. The fight's fantastic. Everything is aligned, almost a crossroads fight, you know, where Conway's competed at a higher level. Liddard wants to be that next man who rules the division domestically, and the venue. You know, 6 years we've been absent from this great place. These four walls, and I said this yesterday, have conjured up some of the best atmospheres I've ever come across. So with the fight, stylistically, with what's on the line, the venue, the crowd, we're in for a real treat.
Kieron Conway has said throughout the build-up that he's felt maybe a little bit disrespected at times. You described George Liddard yesterday. He's been bullish, hasn't he? Certainly full of confidence. He gets the job done in style. As a fighter, look, Conway by no means old by any stretch of the imagination. 6 years elder at 29. George 23. Do you take things a little bit more personally when you've got a young fighter telling you they're going to take what's yours?
Probably. It would wind you up a little bit, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's probably what Kieron Conway needs to get the best out of him. You know, that hungry lion, if you like, the new kid on the block who wants to make a statement and wants to rule the division, like I say, domestically. So that's going to bring the best out of you. If you've been at a different level, which you want to get back to, you want to prove yourself at this level. And by the way, to be the ruler of your nation is such an important moment in your career. It really is. That's a great, great contest between two very good fighters.
If George Liddard can beat Kieron Conway and become British and Commonwealth champion in the way he thinks he's going to, what might British boxing be looking at?
I mean, if he was to do what he said and stop Kieron Conway, his words, you could look at a potential world champion. I believe, you know, I rate Kieron Conway, I really do, but if you dispatch of someone who I believe is good, and most people in boxing would agree, then, you know, the world is your oyster.
And Kieron Conway on a great run, stopped 3 of his last 4, says he's never felt better, that he's better in every single department. I guess the argument on the flip side could be too soon for George Liddard.
That is the big question. Is it too soon? Because, like I say, I really, really rate Kieron Conway. I think he's a very good fighter. I don't believe we've seen the best of him. I think there's still levels that can come out of Kieron. So when you look at that, you put it all in the mix, it makes for a great outcome, I'm sure.
OK, well, 8 fights to make official here at York Hall this afternoon. To do the honours, your MC for the week, our very own Mr. David Diamante.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here today to the East End of London, the heart and soul of British boxing, York Hall, for the official weigh-in of our big night of world-class professional boxing taking place tomorrow night. And it's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We're sponsored by Betfred, Drip, Riyadh Season, That Prize Guy, Tom Insurance, and Everlast. And of course, all the action will go out live around the world exclusively on DAZN. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a great 8-fight card, and at the top of the bill, man, what a fight. It's a 50-50, great fight. Conway versus Liddard for the British and Commonwealth middleweight championships. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and start this weigh-in. Let's bring the fighters up to the stage so they can face the scales and face each other. Our first contest, 6 rounds in the featherweight division. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 8 victories, 9 defeats, 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Peleando desde Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, please welcome Mario Victorino. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, perfect professional record, 6 fights, 6 victories, with 2 of them coming by way of knockout. He fights out of London, England. Please welcome Jermaine God's Plan Zlowayo. Fighters to the scales. $128.6 for Vera, 131.5 for Zlowayo. Fighters face each other.
Yep, Jermaine Zlowayo, 6-0, nephew of Derek Chisora. Opens the prelims from 5 p.m. tomorrow here at the York Hall. Big opportunity for the 23-year-old to impress.
Zlowayo versus Victorino, 6 rounds featherweights, Matchroom Boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
Enjoyed what he said on the stage yesterday, Darren. I mean, seems like Derek Chisora, I mean, when you look at what he's achieved in the game, certainly an experienced head to have in your corner in terms of what he can offer for support and advice. What an opportunity this is for Jermaine, though, in the same breath.
He wants to emulate what, was it Thomas Hearns, Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray?
Duran.
Yeah.
What a list.
I mean, it's not bad, is it? Very good fighter. Seen him in the amateurs, a lot to like.
Yep, Jermaine Zlowayo opens the prelims tomorrow from 5 p.m. The weigh-in continues here this afternoon, though. Back to David.
Our next contest, 4 rounds in the super bantamweight division. Now making his way to the stage, he's a 22-fight veteran fighting out of Buenos Aires, Argentina, Juan Alberto Batista. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He's 2-0, both wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Brighton, England by way of Albania. Please welcome Adam, the Mac Maka. Maka. Fighters, face the scales. $124.8 for Batista. 124.5 for Maka. Fighters face each other.
Yeah, looked good so far, hasn't he? Adam Maka, still only 18, made his debut at Madison Square Garden, then secured a 4th round stoppage in Sunderland just 6 weeks ago. Said at the press conference yesterday, maintaining that KO streak means an awful lot to him.
Maka versus Batista, 4-round super bantamweights. Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from London, England.
Like what you see, Darren, so far?
How can you not? I mean, I love the way he approaches fights. Obviously, you've got that tremendous amateur pedigree, but the way he gets into these fights from the off is so impressive. You talk about value for money. Adam Maka's exactly that.
How do you toe the line, do you believe? Look, he's only 18. This is his second fight
do you know what? Look, this is me as a fan. Sorry to jump in there. I don't think you do. I just think you go hell for leather. Just keep destroying opponents and just reach for the stars. Sorry to quote S Club 7 there.
And have as many fights as possible?
Exactly. Just be busy, fight all the time, and yeah, like I say, don't let any obstacle get in your way.
Okay, plenty of top talent on display tomorrow night on DAZN, including this man, Taylor Bevan. Back to David Diamante to bring him to the stage.
Our next contest, ladies and gentlemen, 8 rounds in the super middleweight division. Now making his way to the stage is a professional record, 6 victories, 3 defeats, with 3 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Zlate, Moravce, Slovakia. Please welcome Lucas Blukiaks Ferneza. His opponent now making his way to the stage. Young professional record, perfect. 5-0, all 5 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Southampton. Please welcome Taylor Bevan. Fighters, face the scale. $170.2 for Ferneza, 170.2, 169.9 for Bevan. Fighters face each other.
Yep, first 8-rounder for Commonwealth Games silver medalist Taylor Bevan. Tomorrow night live on DAZN, fight 3 on the prelims. 5-0 with 5 knockouts so far is Bevan. Looks to be a real special talent.
Bevan versus Ferneza, 8-round super middleweights, Matchroom Boxing live on DAZN from London, England.
I said there, Darren, looks to be a real special talent. Sometimes it's easy to jump the gun in this game, but 5-0, 5 knockouts in the way that he's done it, coupled with the amateur pedigree, which I just mentioned there. I asked you about George Liddard, a similar question. What could we be looking at with Taylor Bevan at this early stage?
I think a future superstar. The fact that he said this yesterday, we yet to see any of his boxing know-how yet. He's gone out there and he's just looked to destroy fighters. And yesterday he was saying we want to see a bit more intelligent fighting from himself. When you start seeing that, which we have in the amateurs, those who have followed him, you're looking at a real special talent.
Yep, first 8-rounder for Taylor Bevan tomorrow, and first 8-rounder for this next fighter, Lely Buttigieg, as well. Back to David.
Our next contest, an 8-round Maltese middleweight matchup. Now making his way to the stage, professional record, 27 victories, 12 defeats, 1 draw, with 11 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Hamron, Malta. Please welcome Christian Chuho Skembri. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. 9-0, 3 knockouts. He's the 4-time former amateur national champion, fighting out of Bow in East London. Please welcome Lely, the Maltese monster, Buttigieg. Fighters, face the scales. 163.7 for Skembry, 163.1 for Buddy Jag. Fighters face each other.
Yeah, been 5 months since we've seen Lely Buttigieg in a ring. That was in East London as well, Darren, at the Copper Box. He's from Newham, not far away at all here from the York Hall. What a year it's been for him, back-to-back stoppages.
Buddy Jag versus Skembry, 8 rounds middleweights, matchroom boxing live on DAZN from London, England.
Don't mind that at all either, Darren. I mean, Skembry, look, bang up for this, which you want to see, never been stopped. What do you admire about Lely Buttigieg's attitude? Look, he's been match tough, I think it's safe to say, but not just the attitude to take these fights at the early stages of his career, but the way he's swam in those deep waters as well.
Yeah, and look, you've seen it, you mentioned it there, 2 stoppages in his last couple, and you can see he's just got that fire, that bit between his teeth. He wants to impress every time he gets in the ring, and I think sometimes, we mentioned it with Taylor Bevan, but sometimes he neglects what he's done so well. Like 4-time national champion is Lely Buttigieg. Very, very good fighter. That coupled with his intent, his power, that physical strength really coming, 20 years old. He's a really, really good fighter. But, you know, as you say with Skembry, he really fancies the job. He's a veteran, he's been around, so we're in for another good test for Buttigieg. Yep,
Lely Buttigieg concludes the prelims tomorrow night, and opening the live DAZN broadcast at 7 p.m. is another rising star by the name of Tia May Ayton, who is highly tipped to be the future face of women's boxing by no less than Katie Taylor, by the way. No pressure, Tia. Back to David.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next contest, 6 rounds in the bantamweight division. Now making her way to the stage, professional record 8 victories, 6 defeats, 1 draw, with 2 wins coming by way of knockout. She fights out of Neuquén, Patagonia, Argentina. Please welcome Laura La Terrible Valdebenito. Valdebenito. And her opponent now making her way to the stage. Young professional record perfect, 2-0, both wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the former amateur world champion and the former 5-time amateur national champion fighting out of Bristol. Please welcome Tia May Ayton. May Ayton. Fighters, face the scales. $120.2 for Valdebenito. The exact same 120.2 for Tia May Ayton. Fighters face each other.
Professional fight number 3 then for Tia May Ayton tomorrow night. Only 19 years of age. 2 fights, 2 stoppages, Darren, which is perhaps on the rarer side in women's boxing, but certainly so much to admire in terms of the boxing ability she has. A brilliant amateur. And backed, as I say, by many.
Tia May Ayton versus Valdebenito, 6 rounds, bantamweights, matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
When you have someone like Katie Taylor, Darren, saying that you're going to take her spot and be the future face of women's boxing, what sort of impact do you think that type of praise can have on you?
First off, you listen and you feed off of it. She's saying that for a reason. She really believes it, and I'm telling you now, I wouldn't say Katie's wrong. The way in which she's dispatching her opponents, not just as a professional, she's never lost. The girl was never lost. And the way she's talking as well yesterday, saying she expects to win. She'll never lose. She wants to do this, wants to do that, multi-weight, undisputed world champion. She's the real deal.
Yep, enjoy the journey, absolutely. 3rd fight for Tia opens the broadcast at 7 p.m. tomorrow, which will lead us in nicely to the first title fight of the evening. Back to Dave.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weigh-in continues with our first title contest of the night, as Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 10 rounds for the vacant English and the Commonwealth Silver Middleweight Championship. Now making his way to the stage, his professional record, 14 victories, 3 defeats, 1 draw, with 6 wins coming by way of knockout. He fights out of Birmingham. Please welcome the reigning Midlands area middleweight champion, Troy the Hawk Coleman. And his opponent now making his way to the stage, perfect professional record, 10-0, 9 knockouts. He's the 4-time amateur national champion, the GB Elite 3 Nations champion, and the reigning and undefeated Southern Area middleweight champion, fighting out of Brentwood, Essex, England. Please welcome Jimmy Sains. Sains. Fighters, face the scales. $159.5 for Coleman, $159.6 for Sains. Fighters face each other.
Picks up the Southern Area title, didn't he? Jimmy Sains last time out. Believes he can find the stoppage tomorrow en route to what he hopes will one day, as I say, be completing that domestic collection. Troy Coleman full of belief that he can gate crash the Jimmy Sains celebrations here in East London tomorrow night. English middleweight title on the line over 10 rounds.
Sains versus Coleman, 10 rounds for the English and Commonwealth Silver Middleweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
From watching Troy Coleman, Darren, what do you think he'll be looking to exploit against Jimmy tomorrow?
I think he'll try to be awkward. He's got a nice jab, he moves well. On occasions, he will bring the jab back to his chest. He can't afford to do that. We've already seen the thunderous power that Jimmy Sains carries in his right hands. I like it. 2 area champions, the Midlands area champion versus the Southern area champion. But like we've seen in a lot of these fights, the winner goes on, winner stays on and goes into big, big fights moving forward. So it's a must-win for both.
Absolutely. Well, more title action will follow Sains versus Coleman tomorrow night. Back to David.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to weigh in the chief support of the evening as we go 10 rounds for the vacant IBF Intercontinental Super Flyweight Championship. Making her way to the stage at this time, her professional record, 8 victories, 1 defeat. She fights out of Birkenhead. Please welcome Chloe Watson. And her opponent now making her way to the stage, professional record, 9 victories, 1 defeat with 1 win coming by way of knockout. Here is the former WBA International Super Flyweight Champion, fighting out of Watford, Shannon Chaos Ryan. Fighters, face the scales. $114.6 for Watson, $114.9 for Ryan. Fighters face each other.
I look forward to this one. Shannon Ryan says since that defeat to Emma Dolan last year for the British title, she's learned so much about herself. Changed trainers, shaken things up. For Chloe Watson, lost her European title on a split to a mutual opponent with Shannon, Jasmina Zapatochna, up now at super flyweight, chasing a return to the big names. 8-1 versus 9-1 tomorrow night.
Ryan versus Watson, 10 rounds for the IBF Intercontinental Super Flyweight Championship. Matchroom Boxing, live on DAZN from London, England.
I know you're a big fan of the way that Shannon Ryan fights, Darren. You often refer to her as the pocket rocket. She always says she'll bring the chaos. What is there to admire?
Yeah, look, first off, I'm a fan of Chloe Watson as well. I think they're both very, very good fighters. I think the way Shannon Ryan approaches fights, I like the way that she tucks up into a shell and she can move really quickly. Very, very quick hands and feet. Chloe Watson, you mentioned the weight there. That must have been a real struggle for her to do flyweight. You see the size of her there. She's not small, is she? So probably the right move in moving up in weight. So yeah, it's a really good fight. Really good fight.
Can't wait for that one in the chief support. And the chief support, of course, will lead us in always to the main attraction for the final time this afternoon. Back to David.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome everybody here today to the East End of London, York Hall, for the official weigh-in for our big night of world-class professional boxing taking place here tomorrow night. And it's now time to weigh in the main event of the evening, as Mr. Eddie Hearn from Matchroom Boxing is proud to present 12 rounds for the British and Commonwealth Middleweight Championship. Introducing first to the stage, please welcome the challenger. His professional record is perfect. He has 12 fights, all 12 wins, 7 of them coming by way of knockout. He's the former 4-time amateur national champion, fighting out of Billericay, Essex, England. Please welcome the Billericay Bomber, George Liddard. Liddard. And his opponent now making his way to the stage. He is the defending champion. His professional record, 23 victories, 3 defeats, 1 draw, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Proudly fighting out of Northampton, here is the reigning and defending British and Commonwealth middleweight champion, Kieron Two-Class Conway. Conway. Fighters, face the scales. $159.4 for Liddard, 159.4, 159.7 for Conway, 159.7. Fighters face each other.
In the middleweight division, your main event tomorrow night, Kieron Conway versus George Liddard from a sold-out York Hall here in London's East End.
Kieron Two-Class Conway, George the Billericay Bomber Liddard, 12 rounds for the British and Commonwealth Middleweight Championship main event matchroom boxing, live on DAZN from York Hall in the East End of London.
Well, we are going to grab a word with both sides of the main event. Okay, well, I was about to say the talking is over. It is now between George and Kieron Conway. George, listen, you've had a big smile on your face all week. Weight made. How are you feeling?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Listen, I live for this. I love this. I can't wait to get in there tomorrow night. I'm feeling great.
What was being said there in the final exchange?
I don't know, but his dad was calling him to go, so do you know what I mean? He had to go.
All throughout the build-up, George, Kieron has said that he just feels he's better than you in every single department. What do you prove, not just to him, but to British boxing tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night, I'll show what I'm about. I'll show I'm one of the best prospects in the world, and I'm about this. I live for this. There's no one sacrifices what I sacrifice for this, and I'm going to show everyone tomorrow night. I'm so ready. 13-0 and the new baby. Let's go.
Final prediction, how do you become British and Commonwealth champion?
By any means necessary. Doesn't matter how I do it, I'm getting the job done. That's all that matters.
George, best of luck to you. Darren Barker is with Kieron Conway.
Kieron, weight made again. Just looking at the exchange there, a lot of words have been said, not just today, but in the build-up. Has his confidence annoyed you at all in the build-up?
Yeah, it has. I don't really know where the confidence would come from. It has annoyed me, you're right, but we get it on Friday.
You said it's about levels here. You've competed at the higher level. How do you show that tomorrow night?
I've just got to be me, focus on me. Let him keep talking, let him keep doing what he's got to do, and I'll do what I've got to do on Friday.
How does Kieron Conway keep hold of those titles tomorrow?
I'll just turn up being me. That's what it's about.
Kieron, all the best. Nice. Again, mate.
Okay, well, the talking over between the fighters. From our perspective, though, let's just give you a little reminder at home of what is to come your way live on DAZN tomorrow night. Of course, the prelims begin at 5 p.m. with Jermaine Lewayo, Adam Maka, fight number 3 for him as a professional. Taylor Bevan, Commonwealth Games silver medalist, looks to move 6-0, 6 knockouts, by the way, and what is a good step up, though, against Lucas Frienza. Before concluding before the bell, Lely Buttigieg in his first 8-rounder faces Christian Shembri. Before we cross live to the DAZN broadcast at the usual time of 7 p.m, TMA Ayton, fight 3 for her, highly tipped, as I say, to be one of the stars of the future. Third fight for her as a professional. She faces Laura Valdebenito. Jimmy Sains and Troy Coleman then meet for the English middleweight title before Shannon Ryan and Chloe Watson do battle for the IBF Intercontinental Super Flyweight title. And of course, as if you needed reminding, your main event, British and Commonwealth middleweight titles on the line. Kieron Conway versus George Liddard, live from York Hall, the spiritual home of British boxing, only on DAZN. Frank Smith has joined us off the stage there. Look, Frank, these two have had a lot to say in the build-up, and even now, what were they saying to each other?
Not sure they're the biggest fans of each other, if I'm honest. You know, Kieron's a quiet character, we know that. Kieron's very quiet, George is very confident. It's probably the two complete opposite in characters coming together. I couldn't actually hear much, it was quite loud, the music, so you'll be able to pick it up on this mic afterwards. But the two of them are ready. It's a real fight, as we said yesterday, and that's what we want. We want fights where both men are coming to and believe they can win. And that's what you got here in this main event.
What do you make of the energy, Darren, of both there in the final stages of the fight?
I like it. You know, I like the confidence. I like the honesty as well from Kieron Conway, saying, yeah, he has got under my skin, he has annoyed me, and I don't mind that. I think being honest like that comes with maturity and experience, but he does have that in abundance, experience, and it's about getting that into the fight as early on as possible.
What do you want to see, Frank, from all the young potential stars of the future in action tomorrow night? A little bit of a battle cry from you from ringside. What do you want to see?
I said every time these guys, girls step in the ring, they've got to go in there and remember this is their moment to become famous, to become stars. These showreel knockouts we talk about, these performances we talk about, social media generation of people becoming stars overnight. This is what they can do every time they step in the ring. This is their chance every time they get to fight to do that. And you know, it's not always about knockouts. I love knockouts personally, as I said yesterday, but it's about great fights. It's about seeing great fights. It's about people delivering entertainment and knowing people gave 100%. And that's what we need to do in this sport. Fighters go in there, give it 100%, they'll get so many opportunities off the back of it.
I think Frank wants to start giving those old prize fighter bonuses.
Yeah, but I might personally start, you know, I might start investing a few quid into the bonuses. Knockouts of the night, you know.
And there's still time for me. I'm telling you, that English title that eludes me, with these bonuses, you might see me back.
What would the winner, Jimmy Sains or Troy Coleman, do to Darren Barker right now?
Oh, destroy him. It'll be a Felix Stern fight.
I would get the switch. It'll be around quicker.
No, but, you know, look, I can't say that because I talk about people taking real fights. Darren always took real fights. He went out to Germany to fight Felix Stern. He went out on the road so many times. He won his world title on the road. So, you know...
How's that 20 quid?
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thanks very much. You know, did it a couple of times, didn't you? But that's what we want to see. We want to see great fights. We want to see entertainment. And I'm sure we can get Darren a fight somewhere.
Yeah, so you've heard it here then. £10,000 knockout bonus on offer from Matchroom CEO Frank Smith tomorrow night.
Maybe not 10k. I'll think about it tonight, and I'll decide overnight what it is. I'm struggling a bit at the minute, but it won't be 10k, but it'll be close.
I don't believe that. Okay, so much to look forward to on your global home of boxing, DAZN, tomorrow night. That does conclude the weigh-in. As we say, all that's left to do now is fight. Join us from 5 p.m. for the prelims, Matchroom and DAZN YouTube channels before the live broadcast on DAZN at 7 p.m. From myself, Jamie Ward, Darren Barker and Frank Smith, we'll see you tomorrow.
I'll knock him out.
I genuinely believe I chin Conway. I feel like that's written.
Conway is the British middleweight champion. Beautiful shot.
Liddard very much in the ascendancy.
Taylor Bevan, so impressive. That really was a devastating display.
Shannon Ryan turns the screw.
That's a very dangerous place to be against Jimmy Sains.
Oh, big right.
Brilliant finish for Jimmy Sains.
There's nothing quite like the famous York Hall for a sold-out night of boxing. A huge night of young talent, the stars of the future here in London.
For me, this is God's plan, and this is a step for me to prove that. I'm not these guys that have been falling over. It's a different ballgame.
Fight Night on DAZN, brought to you by that prize guy.
You don't have to smile through back pain. Let us help. Voltarol is clinically proven to provide maximum strength pain relief for up to 12 hours to help keep you moving. Voltarol, the joy of movement.